If you follow a carnivore diet, you will be criticized about your eating from family, friends, coworkers. A lot of my clients have struggled with loved ones telling them that they're going to die of a heart attack. They've struggled with coworkers asking them to explain why they aren't eating a bun with their burger. In this episode, I'm going to suggest how to handle these inevitable moments, both how to navigate those conversations and also how to handle it internally. One of the most important things to understand is that when someone starts telling you that all the meat you're eating is going to clog your arteries and give you cancer and shorten your lifespan, they are typically not open to being convinced of anything otherwise. They are looking to change your mind, to get you to concede that what you're doing is wrong. So if you are solid on carnivore being good for you and something you want to do, engaging in debates like this can be draining and unproductive because you will rarely convince someone whose agenda is to convince you. I've had a lot of my clients beat themselves up after heated conversations with a relative where they would tell themselves, I need to do a better job of memorizing studies to share as counterpoints, or I need to get better at arguing and pushing back. It is not a bad thing to know the material that supports this diet, but the vast majority of the time, people are not interested in hearing it. And if you start paying attention, this is something that you can start to discern ahead of time, just by the way people bring it up with you. So as a starting point, my general recommendation is to not even try to defend the diet. Give that up right now as something you expect yourself to do. Do not engage. How you do that is up to you, but I think a good general response if someone says, that burger is going to give you a heart attack, is something like, thank you for your opinion. This acknowledges that they've shared something with you. It's polite, and it is also a pretty clear conversation ender. And if need be, if they push more, you can make that boundary very clear by basically repeating the same thing again and leaving it at that. No, really, pretty much every doctor says this. Thank you for letting me know. If your MO is that you don't even entertain these kinds of interrogations, then it's pretty simple to shut them down. But now let's talk about all the interior stuff, the stuff that is going on in your brain, because that tends to be the harder part for most people. I found that one of the reasons why people feel compelled to justify and defend their carnivore diet is because they don't want their family and friends to think they're crazy or stupid. This is especially a struggle when the people criticizing you work in the traditional medical field. After all, they have the credentials. They're the doctor, the nurse, the nutritionist. The best remedy for this is to practice compassion and understanding that they hold the view they do because of their training and education. The carnivore diet and what you're doing is going to be radical and dumbfounding to them because of everything they have learned and heard repeated again and again throughout their careers. Was there a time when you also believed carnivore was totally crazy? Because I remember that time for me. I was very much into the fruit and vegetable ideology, and carnivore went against everything I believed. Some people never come around, but a lot of people do, particularly those in the medical field. But let go of the urge to try to convince anyone, because it is typically more powerful for people to see than to be told. I've heard so many stories of carnivores flooring their doctors with their blood work and with their diseases going into remission. How many doctors have said, keep doing what you're doing because no medication does this? I don't think it's good to be attached to convincing anyone, but if you really want to do that, just let your results speak for themselves. The next thing to ask yourself is, are you okay with people thinking you're stupid or crazy? A lot of times people are scared of what others think of them doing carnivore. I've had people tell me that it feels insulting when your family thinks that you're doing something dumb or that you're doing something to harm yourself. To you, it's like, I've done my research. Don't they think higher of me than this? Don't they know me and think enough of me that they'd consider that maybe there's something to this whole carnivore thing? Part of you wants to feel validated. But here's the problem. Most people do not want to believe anything different or do anything different with their eating. And they are going to be uncomfortable if you do something different from what they're doing. I see this all the time at birthday parties. If I decline a piece of birthday cake, people are so bothered by this, and they'll usually try to offer it to me again and again. You sure you don't want some cake? Come on, loosen up, have some cake. You gotta splurge every once in a while. They are literally bothered by me not having cake. Let me ask you, if you had to guess what's going on here, do you think that they're thinking something along the lines of, oh, Joanne, I really don't want you to have to go home not having tasted this awesome cake and to regret that you didn't have any. I'm just looking out for you, Joanne, helping you avoid the disappointment that you're gonna feel when you get home. I don't think so. People are bothered by this because they feel uncomfortable that they're eating cake while others have decided to abstain. Both my husband and I have had people actually verbalize this to us repeatedly in various social situations. One time, someone that I just met said to me completely unprompted, oh, I'm only eating this because it's been a rough day. I never said anything to this person. I said back to him, you don't have to explain to me. Please enjoy your cake. Another time, my husband literally had a family member confront him at a party and say, do you think you're better than us not eating this stuff? My husband hadn't said a word about anything. He just wasn't eating everything that everyone else was. It can get really triggering for people when you do something different. And when it does, that is not on you. It is not your job to make other people feel more comfortable eating things that they probably feel conflicted about. I was talking with a close friend of mine who's been doing carnivore for a few years, and he recently told me that carnivore is the one thing in his life that he doesn't even care to defend anymore. Because when he strays from the diet, all his health problems come back. He told me, you can debate the science if you want to, but it's irrelevant to him at this point because his experience has cemented the truth of it in his life. He said when people tell him that meat is unhealthy, he'll ask for more specifics and ask them what papers or studies they're getting that from, and that usually ends the conversation. It's very telling, and you learn to discern when someone is genuinely curious and really asking and open to hearing more, and when someone is just uncomfortable and wants to convince you that what you're doing is wrong. Like my friend, when I stray from carnivore, I become ill and my health problems come back. Over the past 4 years, because I have fallen off the wagon at times, this has become undeniable. So I do not feel the need to defend, and I don't ask people to prove to me or explain their counterpoints because it makes no difference to me. Never mind the fact that I believe that everyone should get to decide what food they put into their body. If carnivore works for you, then be at peace with that and know that you're not obligated to explain that or justify yourself to anyone. Subscribe to my channel to keep getting more episodes supporting the carnivore diet. And if you want to hear from me in between episodes with more studies, bonus articles, and motivation for staying on the carnivore diet, sign up for my email newsletter at www.theroadtocarnivore.com.